Today I've come to Brixton to check out the home of London architect Squire Partners.
I'll be taking you on a tour of this historic Edwardian property and showing you how it's been transformed into a state-of-the-art workplace.
This building is full of original features and I can't wait to show you around. This is the department store.
Coming up, we'll be learning more about the building history and getting an insight into some of the incredible transformation works. I'll be taking you around the architect model shop, showing you some of the impressive original features, as well as a look at the stylish co-working studio next door. Finally, an exclusive look at a members-only club with a roof terrace that's hosted celebrities like Dr. Dre. And I promise you, you won't want to miss that. But for now, let's get on with the tour.
Wow, what an incredible building. I think the thing that really hits you first is that retention of those industrial features, but it feels really warm in here. And actually it feels a little bit more like a hospitality setting than it does an office. But I really like that.
There's a wonderful mix of materials in here, and the way they've sanded back the original walls means that flecks of history shine through and provide a lovely backdrop to the more modern pieces that are sat so proudly in the front of house. The floor is original Burmese teak, which is over 100 years old, and the furniture in here is consistent with the rest of the pieces throughout the other floors. And whilst most of the office furniture is new, the furniture in reception has been selected as a way of documenting the design classics that were here when the building was a furniture department store from 1906 up to the 1950s.
So it's really important to acknowledge these voids, which have been created by knocking through the ceiling and the floors to create this lovely big open space. It brings in loads more natural light and it builds a better connection between the floors.
Beneath reception is a generous event space that is known simply as downstairs. It's essentially a blank canvas space which is used to host events and all company meetings, and it adds loads of flexibility to the building. To give us more information on the background and the history of the department store, I'm meeting Tim Gledstone, who is one of the partners here and was heavily involved in the transformation of this incredible building.
Tim, obviously this is an exceptional building and it's unlike anywhere I've ever been before. I'm really curious to know a little bit more about the history.
Yeah, no, it's quite an amazing history behind the building, and the more we unveiled it, the more it had to give. So when we found it, the ground floor was almost wiped out. The post office had been pretty much bricked in. Upstairs had been through years and years of just being a depository, run down. It had rave parties. So we really had to start peeling away to find out what we could do with the building. It was built with incredible quality. You know, we're standing on teak floors. There's mahogany upstairs. We've got copper shingles. It's uncompromised quality.
You talked about it being in that sort of state of disrepair and it maybe sort of not been looked after as good as it could be. What made you buy this?
The love of the idea, to be honest. We had a fantastic office, but actually we realised display and presentation was an absolute key to what we wanted to do, and we actually wanted more space to work as we do as designers and architects.
It also sounds like it responds to that growing need for what more can an office be, what else can it do, and it sounds like you've got that in abundance.
I think a big problem with architecture is I think it's been concentrating on its use purpose too much, rather than its purpose is actually to be a joyous place for humans to interact. And that's what we've really found as Squire Partners. We've always had joy pretty high up in our priorities of life and architecture. This building gives everyone joy as soon as you walk in, and it's an honesty of all the materials. It's being more than one generation. It's sharing all those things.
Well, I'm really excited to go off and explore. I think you've got a beautiful building here, and yeah, congratulations.
No, thank you very much. Well, I think exploring is a big part of the building, and we're still discovering things as we go.
Oh wow, this is so cool. This is exactly what you would imagine when you picture an architect's workshop.
There's lots of elegant and intricate models around the workshop, and I love this open plan space where you can huddle around and go through plans to create detailed models. The model workshop is a space for creating miniature scale versions of the projects they are working on, as it gives architects a reference point to refine the form and structure of their designs. They use 3D printers and laser cutters, as well as more traditional methods of model making, which demonstrates their impressive skill and craft.
It's great to get a behind the scenes look at this workshop, and to some people it might look a little bit messy, but if it was all neat and orderly then it wouldn't feel quite right. For me, this feels like a place where you can really get inspired, be creative and make things.
As we walk up the stairs, you can't help but stop and appreciate all the original features and details that have gone into this staircase. They've done so well to retain the tiles and the flooring, as it really takes you back to what it would have been like in the department store all those years ago. Even the windows add a level of detail to this part of the building. They're really elegant and all of the elements have been considered. Plus, it's a really easy way to encourage staff to take the healthy option of the stairs over the lifts.
Now I've come up to one of the working floors, I'm starting to get a sense of just how vast this space really is.
Everywhere you look in this building, there are constant reminders to its previous history. I have to remind myself that we're standing in the middle of an office here, as this modern workplace has really embraced the original characteristics of this property. I love that this building has been given a new lease of life as an architecture practice, with its stylish layout and modern design, but you'll notice that they haven't covered up the graffiti of the huge skeleton or the singing man. These pieces were left by the previous occupiers when the building was derelict, but now these characterful artworks have really become part of the office.
I think one of the really impressive parts about this space is that everything feels really neatly organised and there's a lovely sense of calm. The office space has been laid out really intelligently, and I think that they really benefit from that.
Now I've spent more time here, I'm really starting to appreciate that there hasn't been a lot of substantial changes made to the property.
The original windows let in loads of natural light, and that makes it feel really bright and open in here.
They've really let the original building stand out as a star of the show, and the result of that is a truly exceptional workplace. Meeting rooms are one of the most important spaces in any workplace, and the department store has got them in abundance. The way they've designed their meeting rooms is a great demonstration of how to maximise available space while still retaining the original characteristics of the property.
So the brickwork in this meeting room was revealed when the plaster was chipped away, and very much to their surprise, they found this really distinctive pattern. And in keeping with the rest of the building, they decided to keep it and affectionately renamed it Urban Leopard Print. I think it's just one of those other really unique elements of this property, and it really has that story that ties it back to its original roots.
In certain rooms, you can still find the original paint on the walls. The green paint you can see here would have once been a bold, vivid backdrop to the latest furniture designs of the day. The room still has the feeling of a department store, but it has been updated to optimise the space for functionality. The meeting spaces have all been designed with collaboration in mind. There's a blend of private meeting space and open areas like this, which align with the different ways of working in the practice. It's great to have a large enough space to host these larger meetings and bring all the different teams together. And for those meetings that require a bit more privacy, this space is an example of those newer areas that have been introduced to the property. Tucked away in a secret staircase, you have a great hideaway room for when you need to get away from your desk.
What a great mix of spaces. I love how they feel so different. And I think what they've done really well here is they've added a lot of versatility to the property. They've unlocked a lot of usable space, and that's given them a great range of choice when it comes to meeting space.
As part of the redevelopment, Squire Partners refreshed multiple properties to be beneficial facilities for the community. That included a vinyl store, a coffee shop and a post office. And they also built the Department Store Studios, which is a flexible office space for local businesses. They took heavy inspiration from the department store and mirrored the architectural language by keeping the floors the same height, using the same brick, and made sure that they executed the design in a contemporary way.
Now we've come to the bit of the tour that I've been waiting for. I can't wait to show you what's upstairs. Wow, this is such an impressive space. Imagine having this on top of your office. I think I've got to ask about membership.
Sometimes you don't need to overcomplicate it when naming things. This club is called Upstairs, and it's a private members club on the top floor of this building. All Squire & Partners staff get a complimentary membership, and to have access to a club that's hosted people like Dr. Dre, I'd say that's a pretty good company benefit. This rooftop social space was added to the building during renovations and provides a bar, lounge area and dining spaces for the practice's staff and guests. There's a beautiful array of materials used in here. You can see pewter, copper, oak, leather and concrete. It's a celebration of materials which adds a rawness to the space and creates a real impact.
When you've got a building like this, you've got to make the most of it. And this roof terrace is an amazing addition to this property. I've been absolutely blown away by the department store today. I think it's so rare to see a commercial building retain so many of its original features. There's so many stories here and the office is rich with design detail. And it just goes to show how much character you can bring through in a property like this. I think what's been achieved here is nothing short of remarkable. And it just goes to show how cool an office really can be.
The department store is a marvellous building and it's filled with period features and modern workplace amenities. It was great to hear the history of the building from Tim, and he went into wonderful depth about this historic property. The model shop was a glimpse of the creative process here at Squire Partners, and it was very cool to see behind the scenes like that. The working floor was where we really got to see how many unique details have been retained in the building. There were plenty of Edwardian features on the staircase and in the meeting rooms, and they ultimately add a lot of character to this office. The flex space is a fantastic addition to this property, and it's nice to see how a building transformation can be used to support the local community. Finally, upstairs showed itself to be a standout feature, and I think it has to be one of the coolest things I've ever seen in an office.
I just want to say a huge thank you to Squire Partners for giving us access to their amazing office today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember to like and subscribe to make sure you keep up to date with any of our future office tours. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
If you work in an impressive office like this one and would like it to be featured on HQs, let us know some of the coolest things about your office by contacting us on the email address on screen.